All right. Falling Forward, episode 4. Got my brother Phil Anderson on the mic. Your boy Arnell Carmichael here. So, we just back again. This week we're gonna talk about rear view mirror and what that means and how it's applicable to each and everybody's life. There's two different connotations or stigmas on what the rear view mirror is for. So, Phil, normally when people look in the rear view, just in the archetypical standpoint, a lot of people look at leaving a situation in the past, you know what I'm saying, and trying to get away from a current situations. What is rear view, just in your life and your spirituality, man, just your day-to-day living? What does the rear view do and mean to you, man?
Mm, Straight to it. Looking in a rear view mirror. Man, when I was thinking about this topic, man, I was going in so many different directions because there's a lot of data that's associated to it. But, I'll say for me, it all starts with your perspective of how you looking at what you're viewing in a rear view mirror. Um, I think it has a lot to do with the power of knowledge and awareness first and foremost. So, meaning, you can allow your past to defeat you of some of the situations that you haven't been able to measure up to, or the things that happen the way that you plan it to. Or you can let it empower you of the things that you've accomplished and, the things that you'll overcome that's in your past. So, for me, I share both parts. I like to kind of look at the things that I've accomplished to motivate me, knowing that I have the ability and the tools needed that's required to get me through the process. Uh, on the other side, I've been there too, and I briefly just been there because I make sure I don't stay in like a sunken place or a place of defeat. So, I thought about the things I could have done and the things that I should have done. But, that doesn't really matter because I can't go in the past and change it. But I believe everything happened the way it's supposed to, the way that it's designed. So, I have no regrets, just lesson learned.
Hmm. Hmm. Some great stuff, man. Let me ask you this though. So you talked about two different perspectives of it. Did you always have that standpoint, or was that something you had to grow into? Was it always, a duality between the two, or what I'm saying, did you,
And I'll go ahead, my bad.
oh no, you good. No, or was it just a one way road, back in the day, back in your younger days? Was it always, yeah, I'm running from confrontation, I'm running out of the situation I got out of, and not a whole lot of introspection from the situation? Or were you always, built and, I guess, conscious enough to look at both sides of the fence?
I'll say I had that one-way street in the past. I would say I was immature in the mindset and the knowledge. So to bridge the gap from where I was into where I'm at now, uh, like I said, it just came with knowledge and awareness um, for me to make better decisions. Lesson learned. I know that I couldn't continue on this path because it was recreating itself. Surrounding myself more around different people that help keep me accountable and to show me different things, because you can't be afraid to grow and you can't be afraid to not know. Surround yourself around brothers like yourself and other people, listen to different tools to motivate you to get you through. It had me to reset my mindset, have a different perspective on things. So, now I look at it as this happened. What can I learn from it? What can I utilize moving forward as a tool when this thing come up again? How can I attack it? So instead of like running from it, because as you continue to run from things, like you're not growing, you're not fixing the issue.
Mm. Yeah, that's an excellent answer, brother. Yeah, I was the same way, man. I'll be honest. When I was younger, It was just you know, how you go to these small towns and you got a one-way street, you know,
Yeah.
in one direction. Yeah, that's how it was for me. I was always running from confrontation. I was always running from growth. I was always running from the truth. And so the rear view signified for me was a chance to run to a new location, new destination, whether it be, you know, mentally or physically, but not change the underlying problem, which is me and my mindset. So you can hop in the car, you can leave, you know, whatever situation that you're leaving, man. But if you don't fix yourself, you don't change your mind, and get around, like you said, good brothers like yourself and other people that are pushing you and forcing you to have some accountability, it'll stay a one-way street. So as I began my personal development journey, man, which is every, you know, ongoing, it started opening into a 2-lane. And then from the 2-lane, it opened to a 4-lane as I started getting around different people and accessing different information and really started challenging myself and taking, you know, just taking self-inventory. You got to realize that, yes, there's some situations we do need to leave, whether it be a job, whether it be a business, whether it be a relationship, we do have to leave. But then, you know, you take another look in that review, you also have to learn from those situations that we just got out of. And sometimes they're bad. And a lot of times we got to pull, um, I guess, pull the information that caused the situation on our end. A lot of times the rear view in some people's eyes is one-sided too. They'll just point at the other person. A lot of times we gotta pull that information out and analyze it and see how we contributed to it before we go into another situation. And then on the other side of it, a rear view can be something positive. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're getting ready to move forward in a new endeavor, when you're getting ready to take a new job, you know, start a new business, getting a new relationship, you can pull from those past experiences that you had successes and some failures from, and really take that, man, and use that as a catapult. You can leverage, you know, your old successes, man, to give you enough confidence to even take a leap into something different.
Man, you said a lot of good stuff there, man. So, when we was talking about running, man, what just came to my mind, like when we come across anything, we need to make sure we run to God with these issues because,
Mhm,
let us down
mhm.
and hear the things we want to hear or get what we need from it. So, God is not going to let us down. It may be tough, maybe some tough love, but He's going to give us everything that we need. And just to kind of comment on the other part, I like the part that you was talking about your perspective, surround yourself around the other people when it was like a 1 lane, then 2, 4, whatever. What I was just kind of envision when you was telling me that was, you know, taking those blinder off and stuff. You could see better and stuff, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah,
Yeah, that was good right there, man.
yeah. That's great, great breakdown right there, man. Taking the blinders off, and that's essentially what you're doing, man. Because we're so trapped in our own paradigm from indoctrination, and you know, maybe not a nefarious indoctrination, but indoctrination from our parents, indoctrination from the military, you know, the job, wherever we're at. We're here so many different things, and pretty soon, if you can't think for yourself, then you adopt other people's values and paradigms on things, man. So as you learn more and you're on your personal development journey, you start finding out who you are. Like you said, man, you know, giving it to God, you do start taking those blinders off, man, and you can see other perspectives and understand and be more empathetic. You know what I'm saying? And it'll help you have a well-rounded and diverse opinion on things. So
That's
let me,
good.
yes, sir. So should there be a balance of looking in the rear view? So when you get out of a situation, you know, good, bad, or ugly, should you immediately look at it as a situation where you got to get away from, so you have a clear enough head to do some self-analysis and some self-inventory, or should you have an equal balance of it in every situation? Should you see, you know, why you left the situation, but then look at it, you know, from a standpoint of what you could have learned, and then just some positive takeaways?
Mm. So I would say across the board, you will always need to find that balance. I think there's a time frame that after you analyze everything, you should leave it and keep it in the past. So what I'm saying is any situation that you go through, I think you should evaluate it to see what you can learn from it, what you could do better, and kill it, leave it alone, and move forward. But you always need to reflect to evaluate to see how you can improve.
Mm, yeah, that's great. That's great. So have you been in any situations where you wanted to get out of and you ain't got to go in specific detail, but you wanted to get out of somewhere and you put that situation, that job, that relationship in the rear view, but you didn't do a lessons learned analysis and you got pulled back into the situation. Is there, and I'm sure we've all had those type of, type of
Right.
deals. So I guess I'm asking, did not analyzing that situation not give you the strength or the clarity to leave, the situation that you were trying to get away from? Not, having that other side of that balance of like, okay, here's what contributed to that. Here's my part in it. But I mean, did you have a situation where you didn't do that and then you got drawn right back in, into the thing that you were trying to run away from?
Most definitely, man. You just led into the question I was gonna ask you next. But
Uh,
it's good that great minds think alike, though. Um, I'll say, my question was gonna be like people in situations that you had to remove yourself from that was hindering you. So I feel like that just kind of coincide with what you asked me. So yes, I've done that numerous of times that I acted out of a emotion. It didn't feel good. I just left it and just went on with my life, no thoughts about it and stuff. And when you do that, I feel like uh, you're not on solid ground. So those situations or those people can easily pull you back because you didn't identify what went wrong and why you moved the way you moved. So that's why it's important to reflect back, to look in the rearview mirror, to analyze, okay, why did this happen? Why did I make this decision? And what I'm gonna do when it circles back up. Because it's kind of like you gotta set yourself for success, kind of like an antivirus. How are you gonna protect yourself when you move from
mhm.
situation in these people? Because they're gonna come back. But what are you gonna do? You're gonna keep on going through this cycle, being sucked in and stuff. So by me not having a plan in place and thinking about it, I got sucked in, you know, with people that didn't mean me no good, or things that I was doing. I found myself doing it again, when emotions and stuff and life happens and stuff, you get sucked back in. But as I've matured and stuff, I sit down and analyze it. Actually, I actually write it down and I think it through. And I'm on stable ground. I'm like, okay, have the pros and cons. And when the cons outweigh the pros, it's a no-brainer. It's time for me to leave it alone and stuff. And I just have to have that strength and that willpower to not allow someone to suck me back in or the situation to suck me back in. Because when you're trying to grow and go to the next level, everybody in every situation can't go with you. They will hinder you for a long period of time until you figure out what you should and shouldn't do.
Mm. Man, said a lot of good stuff there, brother. Yeah, you're right, man. Everybody can't go to that next level with you, but I like what you said, man. You gave some actionable steps on how you get through the stuff. And I think really being able to write the pros and cons down for anything, man, whether it be a relationship, whether it be a job, whether it be, how you're eating, alcohol, TV, anything, man, write it down. And if, like you said, if the cons outweigh the pros, you got to ask yourself some tough questions like, is this adding or subtracting to my life? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so, yeah, I think I'm in a similar situation, man. We've all been drawn back in. I think the important thing is to really have clarity on what it is you want, because when you don't have clarity, you don't have boundaries. When you don't have boundaries for yourself, then you can't expect other people to respect your boundaries for you as well. So you know what I mean? So let's say you got a house and you don't have a fence line or you don't have a fence up. and people come near your area, they're not respecting the boundaries that you may think you have, but you don't have any clear, you know what I'm saying, any clear physical things to show them that there's boundaries. Like with, relationship, if you get in a relationship and you say, hey, these are my boundaries for this and this. If you tell somebody up front, then now they know your boundaries and you have that clarity of what you're willing to accept and not willing to accept, man. So I think just having that clarity, in what you want and that alignment, man. And then once you're aligned, you'll realize that certain situations and people don't mean you any good. And it's easier once you realize what you should and shouldn't have in your life, man. I think when you look in the rear view, it's a lot easier. But when you don't have that clarity, you're always fumbling around and more susceptible to getting drawn back in to the very thing you're trying to run from.
Okay. That's good, man. So I think we kind of hit on some of those points. I have a statement, then kind of drawn out a question for you to respond to. So when you look in a rearview mirror, like your past, you're sometimes distracted on the things in front of you, which messes with your focus. However, it's not always a bad thing because it's necessary, but don't stay in the past. You got to move on. So what would you say to the viewers? Like, how would they know not to continue to attack that same thing in the past? Because what I mean is, like some people, they continue to look at that same thing and they dwell on it. Like, what would you tell the viewers how to handle looking at a past situation and how to move forward from it?
First thing I say is know why you're going to look at that situation in the first place. If you're going in blindly, just saying, hey, I don't know exactly what I want, then you're going to keep going through that loop. So know exactly why you're looking in the rear view for that particular situation. So I keep going back to relationships and things of that nature because it's easily to relate to. So what is it that you want to look in the rear view? Let's use relationships. Are you trying to get back with the person? Do you want to rekindle that relationship? Do you want to understand what faults that you had and that you contributed to that relationship? And if that's the case, go back and find out exactly what it is you want. So if you want to go to a healthy relationship, you got to understand that, yes, party A, they had their faults, but me as party B, I also contributed to the problem. And so now you got to go back and look at the things you contributed, pull that out of there, however long that takes, and then you move from that situation. So I think the biggest thing, just going back to answer your question, is understanding why it is you're going to look in the rear view in the first place. Is it for, I'm sorry.
No, I said that's good. That's good.
Yeah, how about yourself, man? Same question.
Oh man, I think I have to concur with you. The main thing is understanding. And like that comes with what I said earlier. And, I have referenced it twice already, but it just fitting. It just comes with knowledge and awareness. Okay, why am I going back and rekindle these thoughts and emotions and stuff? Why am I revisiting and stuff? If you've done it before, have you not gotten what you need from it in that past time? There's no need to continue to go back in your past and rekindle those flames if it's like a relationship, or revisit these situations for comfort and stuff. I say myself, when I have done that, I was looking for comfort. Pretty much like in a bad place, I wanted, I guess, like some type of fulfillment, validation, whatever. Certain people's situations made me feel better. That way I wouldn't have to deal with my own internal problems and stuff. So what I realized is that I just need to learn how to deal with my own stuff and don't bring other people and other situations in it to make me feel better, because it's not resolving anything. All I'm doing is kind of like putting a mask on it to feel better, but the issue is still there. So yeah, understanding why you're going back, I think that's real critical to moving forward.
Right. Let me interject this too before we move forward. So you liken it to sports again. You see boxers, you see NBA players, NFL teams. What do they do after the games? Yeah, they shower, go home to their families, but the next day they back in the room watching film. And that's all the rear view is. You're watching film on yourself in whatever situation you were in. And so in sports, they're going back to see gaps, things they messed up on, places they could have been better, because a lot of times while you're in that situation, be it relationship, sports, you don't necessarily see the thing that you're in, that you're sitting in, because your emotional mind is really the one that's driving, driving that vehicle, and it's not your rational. And then, obviously we said you got to have a balance of them. So when you're emotionally attached to something, you don't see everything everybody else sees on the outside. So that's why you do have to tap into that rear view from that standpoint, to go back to see, okay, man, I missed my assignment here. Maybe I didn't treat, my wife or my girlfriend as good as I should have there. Maybe I was more set on being right than being a loving, person. So you do have to tap back in, man, and understand the things that we did right and wrong. It's not just a beat up session, because we probably have done some right things, and we got to look at the wrong things so we can get better, moving forward. So
Right. Okay. So I got another bullet that I just want to kind of inform everyone. Then I follow up with a question. So, far as our discussion and stuff, we talking about looking in a rear view, but we all can attest that the rear view is associated with driving. So when driving, you should look in a rear view mirror to gauge if you have enough time to switch lanes or stay put. You also see
mhm.
things that happen after you left that area, which you were spared from, just like in life. So, with that being said, why do you think society has taught us, don't look back in your past? It's a bad thing.
Oh, that's a great question, man. Great insight about sitting put or switching lanes, man. I think sometimes we move too fast, man. I think there's so much emphasis on moving to the next best thing that reflection is not emphasized enough, So um I think just running, man. Most folks get caught up in just running and thinking that running from the past will fix everything. And you can take one bad person, man, and put them in 10 different situations, and you're gonna have 10 bad situations if you don't sit there and understand why that bad person, or that person with that mindset, um hasn't changed it, man. So I think there's so much emphasis on being on the go, man, in our society, and not really fixing things within. You know what I'm saying? That if you run fast enough, you run hard enough and long enough, you can get past all the bad things that happen. When at the same time, brother, it's all about you. It's about your mindset. It's about your decisions and who you are as a person. So you can run as long as you want to in life, man. But if you don't fix what caused those problems, you're gonna keep causing them down the road, man. They're gonna look a lot different. It may not be in a relationship, but now it's manifested in your health. You know what I'm saying? So it can manifest in different things if you don't change your perspective, man, and get to the root cause of why those things are happening, man, from those past relationships.
That's good. You just made me think about, in movies when we look at crime, something that's happening. So they rob a bank or whatever, and they on the go, and they seem like they don't got away and stuff. They don't outran, law enforcement and stuff. But not saying that the law is trouble, but the times that they stop running and they feel like they safe, most of the time that's the time that they don't got caught and they don't let their guards down. So just kind of like piggyback off what you're saying, you may feel like you're outrunning your problems, but it's gonna catch up with you. You can't outrun it. So for me, far as what society has taught us, I say, it's a process of evolution for me. We must grow and unlearn some things that have been taught to us. Not saying that whatever the people have been in our corner was wrong, but they had a different perspective for that time. And as we evolve and things change, we got to have a different perspective on how things are viewed. So you just got to do what works for you, not necessarily what the majority does. Um, it's great to reflect because you learn, you have tools that can help you in your journey moving forward. So you have to look back and reflect back.
Yeah, man, that was great. I love the unlearn and relearn. I've been doing a lot of that over the last 12 years, man.
Right.
And when you're not thinking for yourself, man, when you just don't have the tools, resources, and the people around you to force you to look at things a little bit differently. So we talked about the pit. Some people, it's the same as a rear view, man. You can call these different situations different things, and it's all the same. So when you're in the pit, when you're in the darkness, man, when you're in the downward spiral, you're in there for a reason. So God's trying to show you something. Because a lot of times we ask for things, man, and we just keep getting in situations and we don't reflect. So it all goes back to self-inventory. It's like you said, man, evolution and really doing the work. But it's self-inventory. So you got to dig deep and start asking yourself hard questions on why do I keep getting in bad relationships? Why do I keep picking bad people to have in my corner, man? They keep doing me wrong. And a lot of times, I think when we look in the rear view, when we look, while we're in the pit, we always look for somebody else, man. And sometimes we're not even in the pit for ourselves. We're in the pit to help other people out. But a lot of times God is trying to show us, I need you to see certain things, man, so you can move on to the next level to help other people. And we got to take ourselves out of it, man. I know I said self-inventory, but we can't just focus on bettering who we are as a people, man. We got to be able to take the information out of that situation that God put us in and get that to somebody else. And I think if we look at it from a selfish standpoint, we keep going through that karmic loop. So maybe that's why when we look in the rearview mirror, we never learn the lessons that we're supposed to learn because it's always about me, me, me. So I think if you're in that situation, a lot of times we do need to do the self-work. We do need to do the self-inventory. But if you find yourself already doing that, what I would tell the viewers is take yourself, out of the picture as the primary focal point. And, ask God to show you why you're there and who you need to be helping and doing this stuff for. And then maybe that'll push you along to that next, that next phase in your life.
That's good. What I've continued to hear that what we've been saying is self. We have to be accountable, and that comes with awareness. But I also heard you say selfless, because a lot of times we go through processes and it's not about us. Through the midst of our process, we're helping someone else out. So we must see it through, because if we don't see it through, we are hindering other people. We're doing a disservice to people that we don't even know connected to our situation. So we got to have a lot of outward thinking to realize that everything that goes on doesn't include us just 100%. We're connected with the energy and everything in this world. We're involved with other people more than us.
Great. Yeah, great information, man. And at the end of the day, man, we're all people. We're Black men, obviously, and we're trying to get this out to our brothers, man. But this is for anybody, brother. We're all humans. We're all, people of God. The universal love language is love, man. And showing that. So hopefully this message can reach out and some people can identify with it. Some may not, brother. But all we're doing is sharing our experiences, man. So just glad to be able to hear from you, man, and get your perspective and all this on being in the rear view. And again, one of my key takeaways from this conversation is, man, knowing when to sit in place. Sometimes we try to change lanes too quick, and we should sit in the the slow lane, you know what I'm saying, the right lane. Sometimes we try to get in the passing lane too often and ride that lane and wonder why we're not moving forward like we should. So I think that's a strong statement, man, that sometimes we just need to sit there and really understand why we need to look in the rear view and not be so pressed just to move forward, man. There's something God wants us to know and wants us to learn there. And I think that'll catapult us if we just sit still and silent and quit trying to rush, man. We're in such a society where everything's a rush with the internet, with the microwave, with success, with money. We don't want to just sit and be still and know that we are, you know, in the image of the light, you know, of the Most High, man. I am that I am. So sometimes we need to sit there and just be quiet, and God's gonna show us all the answers we need to know.
Right on, right on. You know, what I gather from this for me is just awareness and accountability. You know, a lot of times we want to point the blame at everything besides ourselves. And we continue to go through a lot of this because it's us. We need to fix ourselves. I got a couple points real quick. I just want to leave with the viewers. The first one, you know, it's okay. Acknowledge your past of what happened. You know, when you do that, you need to gauge and apply what is taught to you. Practice being in the present, being the now, and set yourself a attainable goal and achieve it.
Man, love it. Love it, man. Just to add to that, man, just understand, man, that nobody's perfect. And we're all continually trying to get better. And that's all you can do each day is just try to better yourself, man. And most important, another important thing, man, we touched on it before. Surround yourself around people, man, who are going to uplift you, who are going to challenge you, and like you said, keep you accountable. Because in life, man, it's hard to run a journey, you know, run this race by yourself. But if you got excellent resources, man, such as yourself. I know we've been talking for 3 years going strong every Saturday. And then we eventually decided to, you know, put something together on a digital platform. But man, just having somebody else to hold you accountable will keep you, you know what I'm saying, in lock and step, man, and make you do the things you say you're going to do. So just to add on to all the great points that you mentioned, man, I just tell the viewers to get somebody that has a similar interest, moving in the same direction, and lock up with them and, you know, hold them tight.
Man, you finna start something now, brother. Okay. This may be the last point. I just want to share this because I was at church today, and what the pastor was preaching on, the importance of touching and agreeing and being in alignment. And you just said it just brought that home, because it's important to be on the same page with someone and be aligned with someone that has the same outlook, thought process as you do. However, that doesn't mean that all your opinions and everything has to be the same, but ultimately the same goals in life and the way that things are viewed, but different opinions are welcome. But you know, it's important to find somebody that you're in alignment with.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'll leave with this. My brother Phil passed a sermon on to me. I forget the pastor's name, but we all have a chance and a choice. So you wake up with the chance of life that you was blessed with from God, and then you got a choice every morning what to do with it. So make the best choice that you can with your life every single day, because it is a blessing. It's not a privilege to wake up each and every morning. So the things that we spoke about, things that we keep speaking about, it's going to take some work. It's going to take day-to-day work, and there's no getting around that work. So, man, really, really wake up in gratitude is my message every single day.
That's good.
Yeah.
All right, folks. We got episode 4. What you see when you look in a rearview mirror, by my boy Arnell and Philip. This one is in the books, you guys. We'll see you later. Peace.
Hey, see y'all next week. Peace.